This podcast is not a substitute for a relationship with your mental health professional. Hey, family. Welcome back to another episode of the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise Brown. And if you just happen to scroll by and yet you have not committed or become a part of the family, please do so. I want you to stay. We want you to be a part of the family. So what I'm going to ask you to do is subscribe. Click that button and subscribe to the podcast. Like the podcast, share the podcast, and please comment if you're watching on YouTube under the podcast. Tell me if you agree with what it is that I'm saying, putting out there with this energy that I'm putting out there. If you agree, tell me. If you disagree, if you have questions, put it on the floor. Put it there. Please become a part of our community. This podcast intention is to empower you, to educate you, to enlighten you and support you as you move forward in the world of bringing all of your dreams and your desires into fruition. I got your back. I am here. And that's what we are doing because everything is mental health. Mental health is the root. It is the foundation of everything that happens in your life. Everything. If we talk about your Lord have mercy. If we talking about your relationships, whether it's romantic or friendships, your familiar relationships, the connection between you and your family, your career, your finances, it's all starts off rooted in your mental health. Because if your mind is healthy, then everything else that grows from that will be healthy. Okay? All right, family. So today we are talking about getting unstuck, how to move on. So your girl is here, and I am encouraging you, family, to take the steps forward and to stop looking backwards. Please stop looking backwards because what's in front of you is so much greater if you get those lessons from the mistakes you've made and the paths that you've walked that are in back of you. Family, if you continue to look in the rear view mirror, you're going to crash out. Where are you going? There is no future. You cannot get further, get to things that you want to get to or places you desire to be if you continue to look in the back. It's going to slow you down, but not only is it going to slow you down if you keep stopping and looking back, but if you just put all your energy back there, you're going to crash out and you're not going to fully actualize and achieve all of the things that you desire for your future. So your girl is here. I am here to urge you to move on, to tell you that you are safe, that you are safer than you even know, that everything in life that has happened for you. Family, not to you. All of the things, even if it was painful, it has happened for you. And it's happened to actually propel you to higher grounds, okay? To higher frequencies. So we're not getting stuck in low frequencies and in low frequency thinking, into trauma thinking, trauma bonds. No, we are freeing ourselves and we are moving forward because God has an amazing life for you. Listen, if you think that your life has been pretty good so far, I'm just telling you, if you lean on him and you keep going forward, the life that he has for you, it surpasses anything that you've experienced in the past. But You have to believe it, and you have to be willing to let it go. Let the past go. The past should only serve you as lessons. Lessons. Cute memories, if it was fun. I mean, it's nice to sometimes think about the memories, you know what I'm saying? Because a good old memory, could bring you happy dreams. So that's what the past can serve you, some memories and some lessons. So, in the past, if there's some things that you've gone through that was really difficult, but yet and still you grew through them, you learned through them, make sure you get those lessons. So here we go. I'm just going to deliver 5 quick tips as to how to move forward and let the past go. So the first one is to acknowledge the past, but don't you live in it. When I say acknowledge it, I am saying I literally want you, if there's something that's pulling you to the past and you keep thinking about it, ruminating over it, looking back, putting all your attention there, go falling down the rabbit hole because your attention is in the past, I am saying to you, wait, hold up, family. I want you to acknowledge the past, but I don't want you to live there. So what you're going to do is, if something comes up for you and it's in your head, if it's a scenario that maybe you made a mistake in, and then maybe you're ruminating over that mistake, thinking, feeling some shame, feeling some guilt, and you just feel stuck there. I'm getting ready to tell you, get unstuck. Get the lesson. That's what mistakes do. Mistakes happen to teach us something so that we don't have to repeat them again. So now, family, it's up to you to repeat something over and over again when you know what's true. So what I'm saying is, it's also up to you to look at the mistakes of the past and to dissect it, get the lesson, take out the good, honey, of the past, and then leave the bad behind, because you have the power to create something else, to create something new. You literally have the power to create the life that you truly want, that you truly desire, but you have to have it up in here. You got to believe it. And if what's all up in your head, and that's what I'm saying when I say up in here for all the listeners, I'm talking about up in your head. And if what's up in your head is the mistake that you made, the shame that you're carrying, and the guilt, trust me, family, you're going to pull all of that to your future. You're going to pull it to your present, and you'll continue to drag it into the future. That's why I am telling you, we are going to let it go. We're letting it go. So the past does serve a purpose. It serves a purpose because there's a lot of lessons, some teachings. So you're going to acknowledge it. You're going to get the lessons, honey. Get the good, and then leave the bad. Because the bad, which really, honestly, nothing is bad, but certain things might have made you feel bad. But the bad is really just about learning. It's called life. And in life, there is good and there's bad. That is the reality. So we're going to let those things that we don't need to take forward with us, we're going to leave that back there. And if you want to call that bad, then we call it bad. We taking the lessons and we moving forward. So you're going to acknowledge the past, but you ain't going to live in it. Number 2, now that you've got that from the past, you got all the lessons, it is time to move forward. But as we are moving forward, some people tell me, they too stuck. So I tell them, before you can move forward, let's practice some mindfulness. That is number 2. Mindfulness is bringing yourself to the present. Because, family, before you can go forward, you need to first acknowledge and be in the present moment. To be in the present moment, it is really about you taking time to pull your attention in to everything that's happening here and now. Right here and right now. And as you are listening to this podcast episode, or you're watching me and listening to this podcast episode, if you want to practice mindfulness right now, I want you to stop thinking about everything else that's going on. Like if you're driving, where you need to go and where you need to be, and when you get there, what you're going to do. Or if it happened in the past, what just happened and when they did it and who said. We're going to let all of that go. And if you're driving, be present, drive. If you're listening to this lesson, then just be present and listen to the lesson while you're driving. If you're cleaning up and you're listening, look at what you're cleaning and be present in this lesson, in this moment. I am present here as I am talking to you with my microphone in front of me and all of the knowledge that I have in my head as I'm ready to deliver it to you. I am present. I am not thinking about anything that I've done before this moment, nor what I'm going to do after I'm finished with this. You got me? So you got to bring yourself here. So once you acknowledge that, okay, I'm looking around, sometimes when people say to me they have an issue with the whole mindfulness thing and bringing themselves to the present, this is the thing that I tell them. This is a little trick that I tell them that you can do. So you can use the senses check. So the senses check is, I would ask you to find 3 things that surrounds you in that moment that you want to be present, that you can see. Find 3 things and take your time and really observe them, and then speak out what it is that you see. Then, right, if that doesn't bring you, if you still feel anxious, you still feel like you pulled to your memory or to something that happened or a mistake that you make, then I'm going to say, okay, well, let's do another senses check. So now I want you to smell. I want you to see if you can smell. Look around the room or wherever you are, if there's something there, and I want you to identify something that you smell. What does it smell like in this moment? What does it smell like? And be present just with the smell. You can choose one thing with the smell, because you really can go around the room and you can pick up 3 things if you have the time, and then try to really process what those 3 things smell like. So those things will bring you into this present moment, into right where you are. If those 3, you've done those 6 things, and then let's do another senses check. We can do another senses check. The other one would be feel. Go around the room or wherever you are. If you're in the car, you're outside, if you're walking, go find you 3 things to touch. And when you've touched them, I want you to discuss with yourself, say out loud what it is. Like, there's some bumps on this microphone when I touch it, or this cord, different things. Like this desk in front of me, it's a wood desk. And bring your concentration to things that are in the present, and that will take you from out of ruminating over things that are happening around you or in the past. And then after those 3 things, you got one more senses check that you can do. Listen out for 3 things that you can hear. What can I hear? Oh, I hear. What do I hear? What do I hear? So if I move over there, okay. And so if you do the senses check, by the time you finish doing all 4 of them, you're going to be present in the space that you are actually in at that time. And you will not be ruminating over all of the things that you've done before, or trying to overthink about what it is that you may need to do in the future. Okay? So that would be practicing mindfulness. Number 3, I want you to set clear goals for the future. Set clear goals. So what I notice when I'm working with my clients, when they get caught up into ruminating or thinking a lot over the past, over mistakes that they've made in the past, where they think that, oh, what if I should have done this, or I shouldn't have done that. If they started a business, well, I probably shouldn't have done that. Or if they lost money, or if there's a failed relation, well, I shouldn't have done this and I shouldn't have done that. Just a whole bunch of overthinking over the supposed mistakes that they've made. And I'm always telling them, no, 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 no. That's done. We've already discussed that. You don't need to do that. We're going to bring ourselves to the future, to the present, so we can move to the future. But what I notice is a lot of times people spend time ruminating over their past because they're afraid of the future. They are afraid of the unknown. They're afraid to maybe even recreating some of the pain from the past or recreating some of the mistakes from the past, or they don't have a clear vision as to how they want to move forward. So it's easier for them to keep thinking about something that they've done before. It brings some comfort and it keeps them stuck. That usually sits in their subconscious. So, what I'm saying to you, family, if you feel like you're in a position where you keep seeing that you're ruminating over a relationship from the past, or you're ruminating over some money that you lost in the past, or a business deal that went wrong, or a mistake that you made in the past with your finances or with a friendship, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that, because what you're doing is you're distracting yourself from moving forward. And a lot of times it's because you fear moving forward, because maybe you fear that you are not equipped to be successful in the future. So it's easy to do woe is me and to be stuck in the past. But I am here to tell you that you got this, that you can move forward. And what's going to help you is to be present, and then let's set some clear goals for the future. Clear goals and specific goals for the future. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you an example of one time for me that and you know what, family, I really didn't notice that I was doing this until doing this exercise, like doing this podcast. And the reason why I chose this topic is because I've been talking to a lot of people. Like, this theme is coming up. This theme has been coming up lately about them being stuck in the past. They keep telling stories about the past, when they was I was a good track star in the past. I used to run this in the past. And now that they're about 100 pounds overweight, they're not talking about how they're going to move forward or where they are today. They just keep talking about what they did in the past. And so what I'm saying is, let the past go and let's move forward. But in order to do that, I really had to deduct this and think and peel back some layers to figure out why is it. And then what I saw that was consistent was what I'm telling you, is there's a lot of fear and apprehension about some people moving forward. And I'm here to tell you, and I'll give you a personal example of what I believe that I was doing that. So Hey, family, come on over here, because I have something for you. Starting off with a go-to guide for keeping your minds healthy and strong. This right here is the Bible to mental health. It's your mental health Bible. The name of it is 6 Pillars to Power Up Your Mind and Make Mental Health a Lifestyle. Everything that you need to know about keeping your minds healthy and strong is in this go-to guide. Where you get it from? Well, you get it from awisebrown.com/shop. But in this go-to guide, honey, in this mental health Bible, you know what you're going to find out? You're going to find out the benefits of aromatherapy, and how it can shift your mood. But guess what? You don't have to go anyplace else to look for your aromatherapy, because your girls got you, okay? You can get some aromatherapy here. This is aromatherapy is in this candle. This is called a slice of happiness. It makes me tingle, like literally makes me tingle. A slice of happiness. This is a cruelty-free candle with no parabens, no formaldehyde, and no known suspected carcinogenics. And I'm a part of you. You're a part of me. We are a family. We got hoodies now, and these are unisex hoodies, and they wear well, they wash well, and they feel so good. So you can wear them over your clothes, you know what I'm saying, and look dope, or you can wear them as your clothes with nothing under them, which I like to do often. And when you travel everywhere, I mean, every time I wear them, I'm moving around. People are always asking me whether I'm traveling, going to the supermarket. What's that? Who's that? And I'm like, mental health is a lifestyle. Because see, this is on the back. Okay, they come in white and they come in black. I'm like, join the family. Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast. So there you go. Family, don't you ever say that I ain't give you nothing. You get all of these things from awisebrown.com/shop. All right? I got your goods. I got you. You don't have to go anyplace else. I'll see you on the other side. When I first moved here from New Jersey, my family was not here when I first moved here. So my family, my girlfriends, none of them were here when I first moved here. And so when I was here, I noticed that I would always talk about New Jersey. I would always compare whatever was happening here in Texas with New Jersey. So somebody could come up to me and just be talking. They'd say that I had an accent. They say, "Where you from?" And as soon as they would talk about where I was from, ask me that question, I would always talk about, I would say I'm from Jersey. And then I would always give examples of, you like it here. I would ask them, you like it here in Texas? Or how long did you live here? And then I was on this soapbox of, I don't really like it in Texas, for me at the time. Oh, it's not as cool as it is, on the East Coast. This is not what I'm used to. There are no bodegas here in Texas. There's no White Castle here in Texas. The clubs close at a certain time. Not like New York clubs. So I was always comparing the difference between Jersey and Texas. And I was putting Texas down when I lived in Texas, okay, at this time. Okay, but it was unbeknownst to me at the time why I was doing that. And it wasn't until I really started to prepare for this podcast episode that I realized that this is exactly what I was doing. I was stuck in the past. I was stuck in the whole New Jersey thing, although I made a decision to move to Texas. I made a decision to move forward. I took the jump, and I have told you before, if you've listened to episodes before, I am a serial entrepreneur. I do believe in business. If I bet on anybody, honey, I'm going to bet on myself. So I take chances in life, and I've been doing pretty well by doing so. So I knew that this was something that I was going to do. And I was here and I was doing it. However, I was still talking about Jersey. I would talk about the certain foods in Jersey, and I'd be asking people, where the Chinese restaurants at? I was used to eating chicken wings and fried rice sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Oh gosh, Portuguese food. Where's the Portuguese? I would always complain. I'd be stuck thinking about Jersey. I would walk differently. And, the people who I would meet, new friends who I would meet when we'd walk, let's say in the mall or something, I would walk and I would eat, right? Because that's what we did on the East Coast. I still do that. But they would always be like, oh, let's sit down. And I'm like, we're in the mall. Like, I got to get to these stores. That East Coast mindset. And then I would always compare, like, really? You want to sit there, as to assuming or really judging that, critiquing that was a negative thing, because y'all don't do it like in Jersey. Y'all don't do it like the East Coast. Even the music. I'd be like, y'all don't have no club music. So I would continuously do this. I would do it. I would do it a lot. I couldn't wait till somebody asked me, where are you from? I couldn't wait to downplay Dallas and to talk about New Jersey. Until I really set clear goals about what my future was going to look like. Because at this time, before I moved here, I had graduated with my undergraduate degree. Okay. I graduated with my undergraduate degree in Jersey, and then I moved here. So when I moved here, I had sold my salon. So I didn't have my salon anymore. And so when I moved here, I didn't have a job. So when I first came here, I didn't have a job. Now, I knew that I was going to get my master's, but I wasn't sure what school I was going to get my master's from. I hadn't applied to a school yet. I had the plan in my head, but I didn't have clear goals. You got me? It wasn't clear and specific. It was the things that I wanted, and I knew that I was going to act actualize them because that's what I do. However, I really didn't sit down and make specific goals. So I was kind of like just in this gray space. And as I was in this gray space, not having any new friends immediately, not having my family here, which I was used to immediately, you understand? So it was, Andrea in my little nuclear family, and I'm just moving around. So even as I am meeting new people, I still got the side eye on because you ain't from Jersey. You not my girlfriends from Jersey. Being stuck in the past. Being stuck in the past. Kept thinking about it. Kept loving it, wanting it, even clothing, I'd be looking at people and just talk about how we dress in New York, like how we dress on the East Coast, judging people, being stuck in the past, not accepting where I am and grounding myself where I am. This is at the time where I was not practicing mindfulness about where I am and not setting clear goals about the future. So I'm thinking, okay, Andrea, this is me today. You you must have been fearful because you didn't have clear goals. You knew where you wanted to go, but you did not have clear goals. So it was easy for you to kind of think, to overthink and to dream and to stay in your memories about what happened back then. And so it wasn't until I sat down and I started looking at programs and I chose the schools that I wanted to apply to. And I started looking at the years and then just really start sitting down and plotting out a plan as to, okay, how many years is it going to take? How many years? How long do I do the residency? And then how do I get a private practice? All this stuff is in my head. And then when I sat down and I started to write it down and I started to apply, then all those thoughts about Jersey just disintegrated. It just did because I was uber focused on my future. I was uber focused on what I was going to bring into my future. And I started to move forward. There you go. So number 3 is you set clear goals for the future. That's going to get you moving and it's going to get the past out of your head. Because what am I looking back there for? It's not serving me. Sometimes I could think and dream and do a little kiki about some memories, but that's not serving me. It's not getting me to where I want to be. But setting these clear, specific, obtainable goals, that is what's going to get me where I want to be. So once I started to do that, and then number 4, let go of perfection. I want you, family, let go of perfectionism. As you put these goals together as to how you're going to move forward, don't let the thought of perfection, doing it perfectly, put that out your head. Dismiss perfectionism because it's BS, okay? We're going to dismiss that and you're just going to go for it. You're going to make the steps that you set up to get to you actualizing your goals, actualizing your dreams, but with specific steps for your future. So you're going to let go of the thought of having to do it perfect, because being stuck in that thought of having to do things perfectly will have you in a state of paralysis. It will have your anxiety high, and that's not what we're doing. So we're letting go. Nope. I don't have to do it perfectly. I'm just going to do it. And that's what I want you to do, family. And then when you feel like, okay, as I'm moving forward, I'm going to let go of perfectionism, but I'm afraid. I want you to do the big one. Do your big one. That's number 5. And this is the biggest of them all. Trust God during the process. Trust him because he's got your back. As I always tell you, and I will continue to tell you, that God promises us prosperity and abundance if you out here being righteous. Now, you out here being righteous or you out here being reckless? Okay? So I'm assuming, family, that we out here being righteous, not perfect, but with the intention of doing right, of being righteous. You got me? Abundance and prosperity. So he has you. When your anxiety gets high and you start to overthink about your future, and then you want to keep going back and looking in the past because you scared, You trust God and you trust his promise because he's got you, and you move forward on those specific goals. All right, family. So if you are feeling stuck, family, with looking back, thinking about the past, stuck in the past, looking back in the past about what you had, what you used to do, how you was the man, how you was the woman, what you stuck on that. Or if you stuck thinking about your mistakes, oh, I wish I would have done it this way. If I only would have, you stuck in shame and guilt from a decision you made back then. We letting all that go. And here, I'm going to tell you how to do it. So number one, you're going to acknowledge the past. Acknowledge the past, but you're not going to live in it. So you're going to dissect it. Take the things that you need and bring them forward. So any of the lessons that you've made from mistakes, any of the highlights, take those and bring them forward. And any of the things that you did that you don't want to carry into the future, leave them back there in the past. Let's go. So that's number one, is acknowledge the past, but don't live in it. Number two, you're going to practice mindfulness. Bring yourself to the present. That's where I want you to be, right here in the present. Because when you get stronger and you're aware of the present, then and only then can you do number three, which is set clear goals for the future, clear and specific goals for where you want to be. Because the reason why a lot of you, me, ruminate over past things, mistakes, and all of the other things in the past is because you're afraid, you're fearful of the future. But what's going to help you with that fear is to set specific goals. Ask yourself, what do I want? And then set specific, clear goals about the future, how you're going to move forward to get that. And number four, as you start to move forward and you start to judge yourself, I want you to let go of perfection. Perfection, no. You can't stay here. Perfection, kick rocks, because there is no place for you here. It's not even a thing. Okay? We, as spiritual beings, having this human experience, we are perfectly imperfect. So we're going to let that idea of perfection go. And number five, which is the biggest one of them all, during this whole process, when you get weary, when you get low, when you start to get overwhelmed, when that anxiety starts to rise, you are going to what? Trust God. You're going to give it to him because he's got your back. He's got your back. All right, family. Well, there you go. There are the steps to you getting unstuck in this whole memory or thought process of ruminating, thinking, overthinking about the past. Get out the past and come on, family. Let's make an amazing, beautiful, fruitful future. All right? You have the steps. I just gave them to you, and I want you to use them. And you know what I'm going to ask you, family? I'm going to ask you to do some homework. Please, if you do try, when you try, that's what I'm going to say, because I believe in you. When you try one of these steps or all of them, I want you to write a comment. Put a comment down under if you found this, the link on Facebook, put it under the post on Facebook. If you found it on Instagram, put it under the post on Instagram. If you found it on YouTube, put a comment under there. If you tried the step and if it worked for you, or if you tried it and it didn't. Because I want to hear from you, family. I want to hear from you. Well, there we go. That is the end of another episode of the Mental Health is a Lifestyle podcast with your girl, Andrea Wise Brown. Family, I will see you next week on the next episode. And I just want you to know once again, I love you.